Assalamualaikum and peace be upon you. Welcome back to our video. I am Hadijah. This is the second part of the series of videos entitled Sampling Design in Social Science Research. Stay tuned. Now, let's have a quick outline of the presentation of the video, which cover topics such as basic premises of probability sampling, steps in conducting probability sampling, types of probability sampling, which are four: simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, and this video will end with a quick conclusion. What are the basic premises of probability sampling? First, every member of a population has a known and equal chance of being selected. For example, if we have a population of 1,000 people, each person would have odds of 1 out of 1,000 of being chosen. In this case, probability sampling gives us the best chance to create a sample that is truly representative of the population. So, the second premise of probability sampling is representativeness. What are the steps in conducting probability sampling? First, select sample size. And to do so, we need to determine confidence level for margin of error. Next, identify all of samples from a population. Then, determine how to get samples using a specific sampling design. Now, let's move on to the types of probability sampling. There are four types. First, simple random sampling. Second, systematic sampling. Third, stratified sampling. And lastly, cluster sampling. What is simple random sampling? It is a completely random method of selecting subjects or participants in a study. To select samples needed in our study, we need to have a complete list of samples in a population in which every sample has equal chance to be selected. For example, we can assign numbers to all samples and then, using a random number generator, we choose random numbers in which the samples are assigned to. We do this until we get the desired sample size that we have determined earlier according to the confidence interval for margin of error. Another example is we can use balls with different colors such as red and green with the names of all samples. We set our selection by determining that only people with specific color would be selected as sample. Then we randomly choose the ball in which only the individuals whose color are chosen are included in the sample. The second type of probability sampling design is systematic sampling. What is systematic sampling? For systematic sampling, after we have decided on the sample size, arrange the elements of the population in some order, such as through list of all samples. Then, we select terms at regular intervals from the list. In this case, we choose every n participant or site in the population from a complete list of samples that we have earlier until we reach our desired sample size. For example, we could choose every n person listed from the list of 1,000 samples in a population. We repeat the process of choosing every 10 person listed from the list until we get the desired sample size. Next, we move on to stratified sampling. What is stratified sampling? Stratified sampling involves splitting subjects into mutually exclusive groups such as gender, social class, education level, and such. And then the population is randomly sampled within each category or stratum. In this case, researchers can divide or stratify the population on some specific characteristics such as gender, race, or marital status, and then using simple random sampling, select samples from each subgroup or known as stratum according to percentage of population. For example, if 30% of the population is female, then 30% of the sample is randomly selected from the female subset of the population. We repeat this process throughout the other subsets of the population that we have identified earlier. We do this until we get the desired sample size. Lastly, the fourth type of probability sampling is cluster sampling. It is a way to randomly select participants from a list that is too large for simple random sampling. For example, if a researcher wants to choose 1,000 participants from the entire population of teachers in Malaysia, it is likely impossible to get a complete list of everyone. Instead, the researcher could randomly select areas such as state, cities, district, and school, and randomly select the teachers from within those boundaries. Before I end this video, I would leave you with a question that you can think about. Why do you think researchers choose to use probability sampling rather than non-probability sampling? You can leave your comment on the comment box at the end of this video. In the next video, we are going over the topic of types of non-probability sampling design. These are some of the references that we used to prepare this particular video. The slides were prepared by my colleague, Dr Rohaya Talib, and this video is narrated by me, Hadijah Jaffri.